Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back for part 4 of how to make a river cane arrow. A to Z. Okay, well, while I was off camera, I went ahead and hafted this arrowhead on here with pine pitch. I haven't glued it yet, and I worked down the foreshaft um, so that it would fit both into the arrowhead and into the end of this cane here. You'll notice the burnt spot on the cane and on the foreshaft. I did that with my lighter on purpose. That's where they line up and they're nice and straight. Obviously, it pushes all the way tight to each other. But I've only got one hand because I'm running the camera myself. And what I'm doing right now is I'm chewing on some of this backstrap sinew, just a little strand of it. And then I'm going to take some of this gelatin. By the way, just let me back up a little bit. This is pine pitch glue. I don't have much left. It was a big old ball about the size of 2 golf balls on here. But I've made a lot of stuff, knives and stuff with it. But basically, I just kick the heat gun on, heat the pine pitch up over it. I like to use the heat gun because it doesn't burn or discolor the pine pitch. And it leaves it with that nice golden color. Anyway, now that that's pine pitched in a good smooth transition, that's going to be a great killing point. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this Knox gelatin, put the arrow down, and I'm just going to dump it right in my mouth, right along with the sinew. Not very much of it. And my saliva, I know it's gross, but my saliva mixed with the Knox gelatin, basically Jello, but it's food grade hide glue is what it is. It gets all over your teeth, pretty nasty, but you continue to chew the sinew and work that glue real good into that sinew. And when you pull it out, I'll half that arrow on, and it'll have glue embedded into the sinew. It's a real good way to get glue on the sinew. Well, anyway, without further ado, try to do this with one hand. Okay. Let me try to set this camera up and I'll be right back. Okay. We'll try this again. That is the sinew. Got hide glue all in my teeth. But like I said, it's Knox gelatin. It's unflavored Jello. Basically all it is. And it's made from animal parts. I actually back my bows with that stuff. Works real good. But back to what I'm doing here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Is I start at the base, just underneath the arrowhead. And I do at least one good wrap to where it's wrapped over on itself. And I try to get it real tight just underneath the base. I'm going to come back and wrap it again with another piece of sinew under the base for extra support. But you go across once, down, flip your head, and come up across. And you really want to spin the arrow and not the sinew. And the reason being, there's kind of some thick stuff there I'm trying to get out so it's nice and smooth. You want to make sure your sinew is real smooth when it comes to the arrowhead, because you see I'm doing more wraps directly underneath the arrowhead, and I want to get them up tight, keep them up tight right up to the bottom of the arrowhead, because when it impacts an animal, there's going to be a lot of force, blunt force pushing back on the arrowhead, and it's a good idea. I'm just using some of that stuff that fell off. It's a real good idea to have the sinew real close to the end because it's real hard to cut through the sinew. And the reason you want to spin the shaft and not just wrap the sinew around is because the sinew will twist and kind of bind up, and you want it to lay kind of flat. And I usually go about a 1/2 inch, maybe a little more, underneath the arrow head, underneath the point, just to really reinforce underneath that point. Hopefully I'm in the camera for all this. If not, hopefully I'm describing it good enough. Now I'm going to tear off one more piece of sinew here. Show you guys how I do that. Usually you can just work it and get you a piece off like that. Yeah, I might be able to do it without the scissors. But if you can't work it, sometimes you can just cut it. Just a little piece on the end and then tear it out like that. Okay, there's a good piece of sinew right there. I'm going to stick it right in the mouth. I still got all that hide glue in there. But just to be safe. Pretty nasty stuff. And you don't want to chew it like you're trying to eat it. You just want to kind of knead it, you know? Just kind of chew it, but softly. It just kind of tastes like flavorless beef jerky. You actually get used to the taste. I don't mind. I swallow the extra pieces. All right. So now, same thing. You start just underneath it. See if I can get close enough here for you guys to see. You start here. Hold on here. Come on. All right. So you start just underneath it right there, pinch the one end down with your thumb, and then you basically just wrap it over onto itself. Okay, hang on, they've got a piece here from the other sinew and wanting to kind of stick up, so I'm going to move that. The key is keeping the stuff wet while you're working with it. All right, so hopefully you can see this. I'm pinching it. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. We'll try the other side. Maybe the other side stick down a little better. Sometimes if an end's kind of blunt, it helps to take a flake and just kind of like touch the end a little bit and kind of fan it out so that it's not so blunt on the end. All right, I got it. You wrap it on itself, and then you go over. And if you notice when I wrap, I'm allowing the sinew to stay. That way I'm not wrapping and twisting the sinew. That leaves the sinew laying flat. So it went over that side once. Now come back over here, go over this side once. Now that's 2 wraps with the X. That's really all it needs. Because the sinew is crazy strong. Let me tell you a little fun fact about sinew. Pound for pound, sinew is stronger than steel. I believe 10 times stronger than steel, pound for pound. And as far as flexibility goes, it's more flexible than any natural material on earth as far as, like, you know, trees and stuff like that. That's why it makes a real good backing for bows. All right. Well, now we got one arrowhead hafted here. Let me show you. There's one good hafted point. And you see that sinew's on there real good. And that's the pine pitch, the other stuff there, the black tar looking stuff. And that's that rainbow obsidian. Beautiful stuff. It really is. Anyways, so I'll be right back with you again. I only got one hand here when I'm running the camera, so I'm gonna. The next move is to get this sucker into here where it's supposed to go, And I'm going to put some hide glue down in there, and then I'll sinew wrap back on it, and we'll go from there. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys something. I got it all lined up. And what you really need to be able to do, and it doesn't do you no good to do this on a table, is it must spin. If it does not spin, it isn't right. And the only way you can really spin it like this is to basically have it on your hand so that you can feel it going a little tiny bit. Or you can look down it and spin it like that and make sure that the end isn't wobbling. Or the next best thing, and the easiest way to do it, is like this. Hold on, I gotta pause the camera. All right, the very next best, easiest way to do it, I hope you guys can see this, is get your shirt out of the way. And you hold it just before the foreshaft. If you're checking to see if the point's on tight, then you hold it just below the point and you spin it on your leg like this. And you watch that point, and if that point's spinning perfect, like it's connected to something and not wobbling at all, then you're good. And then you do the same thing at just below the foreshaft. You spin it like that, and if it's spinning how you want it to spin and it ain't wobbling, then you know you're good. This one's good. It's set good. I did that before I got on camera. So now what you need to do, take a little bit more of this hide glue. If you got real hide glue, then use that. But and again, you don't have to mix the Knox in your mouth. You can mix it up in some warm water. Fine saliva actually helps with the stickiness. But what I do, I get that hot glue all over there. And if you notice, that transition is exact. Foreshaft to river cane, there's no difference. But it needs to have sinew. It must have some sinew on it there, both on the river cane and on some on the foreshaft. Now, what I forgot to do on the river cane that you have to do too is river cane is slippery, and there's sinew oftentimes will slip right off of it. So it helps if you kind of rough the river cane up a little bit with a razor knife or something. I still got that hide glue all in my mouth, so it don't matter. Now chew on some sinew. Just like that. I'm gonna break this piece up even finer. And when I'm done with this, we have a done hunting arrow. Now, obviously, they don't take me an hour to make an arrow. Like these 4 videos have equaled about an hour of time. But to film and make an arrow takes a good little amount of time. All right, now we want these sinews to be pretty nice and petite. So chew a couple up here. All right, so we got one chewed up here real good. Gelatin glue all over it. And we're just going to wrap just below the foreshaft. Again, spinning the shaft, not twisting up the sinew. That way it'll lay nice and flat. What you're doing here, excuse me, what you're doing here is you're reinforcing the river cane. Here, I'll get up closer so you guys can see. Well, what you're doing here is you're reinforcing the river cane so that it doesn't split from the impact of this arrow when it hits something. All right, get that sinew out of the mouth there. Okay, we got a good long piece. All right, hands are getting real sticky. from the hide glue. But that's a good thing. All right, so we wrap it over itself so that it kind of latches itself down. Sometimes you got to go twice for it to really stick. All right, so see, I'm spinning the foreshaft and reinforcing that river cane. And that's it. That's all we're doing. We'll take this piece I already chewed on here, and we'll split it down to where it's smaller. Lay a piece to the side. Re-wet it. Now, start where you left off. All right. There you go. Now just start right where you left off with the other one. Wrap it onto itself. Make sure the sinew stays nice and wet. There we go. All right, now continue your wrapping. I hope I'm in the camera view. I got to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing or I could ruin everything. All right, and then just kind of wrap it up onto itself. There, now that cane has been reinforced with some real heavy duty stuff. Like I said, 10 times stronger than steel, pound for pound. Let that sink in a little bit. All right, now with this last piece of sinew, get it wet again. Now this is a transition wrap. We start at the middle where the cane and the foreshaft meet. In this case, it's hickory. Wrap it over itself, and you basically want to wrap it right on that seam where the two meet. Okay? And then, kind of sticky here. Now you just wrap upwards onto the foreshaft until you run out of sinew. You usually get about a ½ inch out of it, which is what I got. Now I don't worry about much more than that because I glue my foreshafts in. If you're not going to glue your foreshaft in, you may want to wrap it a little further than that. Let me see here. If I drop the piece down here, I'll reuse it just to show you. I didn't though. But anyway, here, let me get this camera and I'll show you up close here what I'm talking about. Sorry about this video being so long, guys, but this is the final. See if I can get it to focus here. There we go. Now you can see the sinew starts right where this nail is. And it wraps all the way up to here, which is the transition point. And then from there to there is foreshaft. And then the foreshaft goes down inside the cane all the way to this node. And there is glue inside there as well. Now we have a finished river cane hunting arrow. And this is a deadly one. That is a obsidian, razor sharp, deadly hunting point. And when this sinew dries, it'll shrink and shrink down real tight right to the everything. And it shrinks and tightens. That's the great thing about sinew. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I can't wait to get out in the field and use my brand new awesome river cane hunting arrow. I'm going to make at least one more, maybe two more. I'll shoot them into some hay targets just a couple times, hoping that I don't break that head. If I do, no big deal. You just heat up the glue, wet the sinew, take it off, put a new head on it. Try to get your new head exactly the same size because now you know it shoots good. And go from there. Now, for those of you guys, real quick, I just want to touch on something. For those of you guys that are real worried about spine and don't want to break your nice hunting heads, what you can do is before you put the sinew on here and make it permanent like I did, which I kind of did just for purposes of the video. I know this arrow will shoot. I've made hundreds of arrows. I take my time with them and do them right first, so I know they'll shoot. But a good way to spine your arrows and do everything, you know, legit is when you make the whole arrow just like I did, the foreshaft and everything. But instead, you can take like a piece of bone or a piece of wood, and you can actually weigh them with a grain scale, and you can come out with the exact same sized tip. And you can just kind of tie it in there with artificial sinew, no glue or nothing. Shoot it a few times. If it shoots right, then go ahead and put your hunting point on and get ready to hunt. Anyways, I'm Jesse Rush with Flinga Bows. I hope you guys enjoyed this 4-part series on river cane making from A to Z. And remember to like, subscribe, and check out all my videos. I got a lot. All right, guys. Get out in the woods. Have some fun. Peace.